Jack Howard rubbed his tired eyes as he stared at the monitor. Working the night shift at the Lunar Observatory was usually quiet, but tonight was different. The signal had appeared 3 hours ago. At first, he thought it was a glitch, but it continued, growing stronger with each passing minute. Control, this is Station 12. I'm picking up an unusual signal from the outer system. Can you confirm? Jack's voice was steady, despite his racing heart. Station 12, we see it too, came the reply. We're alerting command now. Within an hour, the quiet observatory transformed into a hub of frantic activity. Scientists and military personnel rushed in, their faces a mix of excitement and fear. Jack briefed each new arrival, explaining how the signal followed no known human pattern and originated beyond Neptune's orbit. On Earth, Olivia Martinez was awakened by the urgent call. As head of Earth's United Space Command, first contact protocols fell under her jurisdiction. She dressed quickly, her mind already assembling the team she would need. Get me Alan Peterson and Frank Russell, she ordered her assistant as her transport lifted off toward command headquarters. And have Natalie Wright meet us there. Tell them this isn't a drill. By the time the massive alien vessel entered the solar system, Earth was ready, or as ready as humanity could be for such a moment. The ship bypassed Neptune and Uranus, then slowed as it approached Jupiter, eventually settling into orbit around the gas giant. It's bigger than anything we've ever built, whispered Alan Peterson as they watched the feed from the Jupiter outpost. The xenobiologist has studied theoretical alien biology for decades, never truly expecting to see proof in his lifetime. And probably better armed, added Frank Russell, the military attaché whose hand hadn't strayed far from his sidearm since the alert began. The message, when it came, was transmitted simultaneously to every major communication hub in the solar system. It appeared on screens in perfect English, though translations reported it also arrived in Mandarin, Russian, Spanish, and every other major human language. Greetings, people of Earth. We are representatives of the Galactic Council, a federation of 127 spacefaring species dedicated to cooperation and advancement. We request peaceful communication. For 3 days, basic information was exchanged. The aliens identified themselves and confirmed they had been observing Earth from afar. They expressed surprise at finding advanced civilization on a planet their records had designated as a Doomworld. What exactly does Doomworld mean? Olivia asked during the 4th communication session. The alien response was delayed longer than usual. It is a classification for planets where life repeatedly evolves toward self-destruction. Your continued existence is unexpected. On the 6th day, the Council requested a face-to-face meeting. They want us to send representatives to their station near Europa, Olivia told the emergency session of Earth's United Government. Ambassador Zextal has offered guarantees of our safety. Can we trust these guarantees? Asked President Lawson. Olivia looked at the data collected over the past week. Their technology is far beyond ours. If they wanted to harm us, they could have done so already. 2 days later, Olivia led a small delegation aboard Earth's newest diplomatic vessel. Besides herself, she brought Alan Peterson, Frank Russell, and Natalie Wright. Science, security, and analysis covered by the best minds Earth had to offer. As their ship approached the gleaming station orbiting Europa, Jack Howard watched from his post at the Lunar Observatory. He had been the first to spot the signal, but now his role was to monitor all communications from the meeting. "Be careful out there," he whispered, though no one could hear him. The vast emptiness of space separated him from humanity's first steps into a larger universe. On the station, as the airlock cycled open, Olivia straightened her uniform and prepared to make history. Whatever these aliens meant by Doomworld, she intended to show them that humanity had survived for a reason. And that reason was about to enter the galactic stage. The council chamber was a vast room with curved walls that seemed to shimmer with soft light. Olivia Martinez and her team stood at one end, facing 7 aliens seated at a crescent-shaped table. Each alien looked completely different from the others. Some had multiple limbs, others had skin that changed colors, and one appeared to be made mostly of crystal. Ambassador Zextal stepped forward. He was tall and slender with blue-gray skin and 4 arms. His large eyes blinked sideways instead of up and down. "Welcome, humans," he said, his voice translated through small devices attached to the humans' ears. "We appreciate your willingness to meet with us." Olivia nodded politely. "We're eager to learn more about the Galactic Council and why our planet was classified as a Doomworld." The crystal being chimed softly before speaking. "This is quite unusual. We have records of Earth dating back millions of years. Never did we expect intelligent life to emerge from such a planet." Alan Peterson stepped forward. "What exactly makes Earth a Doomworld?" The aliens looked at each other, and Olivia noticed something like concern in their expressions. Ambassador Zextal gestured with his upper arms, and a holographic display appeared in the center of the room. "Earth has experienced 5 major extinction events before humans evolved," he explained as images of ancient Earth appeared. "Most planets have 1 or 2 at most. Your world has extreme geological instability." The display showed volcanoes erupting, earthquakes splitting the ground, and tsunamis crashing onto shores. "Your planet experiences an unusual number of natural disasters," continued Zextal. "Hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, droughts, all in cycles that most species could not survive." Frank Russell watched the security officers positioned around the room. They seemed tense, their hands never far from what he assumed were weapons. "Earth also has harsh climate variations," said the crystal being. "From burning deserts to frozen wastelands, often with rapid changes between seasons." Natalie Wright studied the data scrolling beside the images. "These readings indicate you've been monitoring Earth for thousands of years." "Millions," corrected a squat, orange alien. "We place observation satellites around potentially habitable worlds. Earth has been monitored since before your dinosaurs existed." The hologram shifted to show the sun. "Your star bombards your planet with dangerous levels of radiation. Most Council species would require extensive protection to survive on Earth's surface." "And the predators," added another alien, this one covered in feathers. "Earth has an unusually high number of dangerous predatory species throughout its evolutionary history." Olivia began to understand. "You're saying our planet is essentially designed to kill its inhabitants?" "Precisely," said Zextal. "Worlds like yours typically produce life that destroys itself before reaching space. The conditions are too harsh, the competition too fierce." Alan leaned forward, fascinated. "Yet here we are." "Yes," said the crystal being, its voice tinkling. "Here you are. And that concerns some council members greatly." "Concerns them?" asked Frank, his hand moving slightly closer to his sidearm. "Why would our survival be concerning?" The aliens exchanged glances again. Olivia noticed a subtle change in the room's atmosphere. "Species from Doomworlds that survive," began Zextal, choosing his words carefully, "tend to be extraordinarily resilient, adaptable, and often aggressive. These traits helped you survive your harsh world, but they can be problematic in galactic society." "You're afraid of us," Natalie said quietly, the realization dawning on her. The room fell silent. None of the aliens denied it. "The Council must determine if Earth can be integrated safely," Zextal finally said. "A species forged in such conditions has never joined the Council before." Olivia stood straight, feeling the weight of representing all humanity. "We've survived our Doomworld not just through strength or aggression, but through cooperation and intelligence. We'd like the chance to prove that to you." The crystal being chimed again. "That opportunity may be granted, but not all council members agree." As if on cue, the chamber doors opened and a new delegation entered. These aliens were heavily armored, with sharp angles to their bodies and cold, calculating eyes. Olivia felt Frank tense beside her. "The Vraxian delegation has arrived," announced Zextal. "They have," concerns about Earth's inclusion in galactic affairs. The Vraxians looked like a cross between lizards and insects. Their bodies were covered in hard plates that clicked when they moved. The leader stepped forward with a stiff, mechanical gait. "I am General Voss of the Vraxian Defense Force," he said, his translator making his voice sound like grinding metal. "We request this meeting be moved to formal council session. The Doomworld issue requires full attention." Ambassador Zextal's skin changed to a lighter shade of blue. "We are still in preliminary discussions, General." "Preliminary discussions should have happened before bringing them here," Voss said, pointing a clawed finger at the humans. Olivia stepped forward. "We're happy to address your concerns directly, General." Aelin touched her arm in warning, but she continued. "Perhaps if we shared more about humanity's history and development, it would help the Council understand us better." Zextal nodded. "An excellent suggestion. The Council chamber has already been prepared for your presentation." The group moved to a larger room where hundreds of alien representatives sat in tiered seating. Holographic displays hovered in the air, showing images of Earth from space. The human delegation stood on a central platform, while the Vraxians took positions near one of the exits. Alan Peterson stepped forward to present. His voice was calm and steady as screens behind him showed scenes from human history. "Humans evolved in Africa, on Earth's second-largest continent," he began. "Our early ancestors learned to use tools, control fire, and work together to survive predators much stronger than themselves." The screens showed early humans hunting in groups, building shelters, and creating communities. "As we spread across our planet, we adapted to every environment, from freezing Arctic regions to burning deserts, from high mountains to dense jungles." Frank Russell watched the Vraxians closely. Their posture reminded him of soldiers preparing for combat, not diplomats at a peaceful meeting. "Our history has not been perfect," Alan continued honestly. "We've had wars, diseases, and natural disasters. But with each challenge, we learned and grew stronger." The images showed humans rebuilding cities after earthquakes, developing medicines to fight plagues, and creating technologies to predict weather patterns. "In the last century, we've made enormous progress. We've established colonies on our moon and Mars. We've developed sustainable energy sources. We've begun to heal the damage we once did to our planet." Natalie noticed some council members leaning forward with interest, while others whispered among themselves with concerned expressions. "Humans thrive on challenges," Alan explained. "Yes, our world tried to kill us at every turn, but it also made us innovative, resilient, and determined." "And warlike," interrupted General Voss. "Show them your wars, human." Aelin nodded calmly. "We have fought wars, it's true. But we've also created art, music, literature. We've developed philosophies of peace and cooperation." The screen showed images of human creativity alongside scenes of conflict. More importantly, Olivia added, stepping forward, "We learned from our mistakes. Our nations now work together on our biggest challenges. Our differences became our strength." A small, furry alien near the front raised a paw-like hand. "How many wars has your species engaged in during your recorded history?" "Thousands," Alan admitted. And how many species on your planet have you driven to extinction?" asked another council member. "Too many," Natalie answered honestly. "But we now lead conservation efforts to protect endangered species." General Voss made a sound like grinding gears. "The pattern is clear. Species from Doomworlds consume resources, expand aggressively, and eliminate competition. It is their nature." Olivia felt the room's mood shifting against them. Many council members now looked at the humans with open fear or suspicion. "We come in peace," she said firmly. "We seek knowledge and friendship, not conquest." "So say all predators before they strike," Voss responded. "The council has seen this before." Frank stepped closer to Olivia. "They've already made up their minds about us," he whispered. Ambassador Zextal raised all four of his hands. "This discussion will continue tomorrow. The council needs time to consider all information presented." As the human delegation was escorted back to their quarters, Olivia noticed Vraxian security forces shadowing them at every turn. This first contact was quickly becoming a trial, and humanity stood accused of the crime of surviving its Doomworld. Back on Earth, Patricia Collins sat in the dimly lit control room of the Global Defense Center. As Director of Intelligence, she had been analyzing all data coming from the Council station. Something didn't add up. "Show me the deep space scans again," she ordered. The large screen lit up with sensor readings from the past week. "There," she pointed to a blip near Mars. "That's not one of our ships, and it's not on any flight plan the Council shared with us." Her assistant leaned closer. "Stealth technology." "Yes, but our new sensors picked it up anyway," Patricia said. "They're scanning our defense systems." She pressed a button on her desk. "Get me Jack Howard at the Lunar Observatory. Now." At the Council station, Natalie Wright couldn't sleep. The quarters provided to the human delegation were comfortable, but her mind kept racing with questions. She slipped out of bed and went to the small console in the corner of her room. Each delegate had been given limited access to the Council's scientific database. Most information was restricted, but she could view basic data about Council member species. She began searching for anything related to Doomworlds. After 2 hours of careful reading, she found a pattern hidden in the scientific journals. 3 other planets once classified as Doomworlds had been mentioned in historical records. All 3 had developed intelligent life. All 3 species were now extinct. She quickly encrypted a message and sent it to Frank Russell's room. 10 minutes later, he appeared at her door. "You found something," he said quietly. "The Vraxians are hiding something," she whispered, showing him the data. "These other Doomworld species all went extinct right after making contact with the Council." Frank's expression darkened. "Not extinct. Exterminated." On the Lunar Observatory, Jack Howard received Patricia's call. He had been monitoring unusual energy readings around Earth's orbit. "We have unidentified vessels performing scans of our defense grid," Patricia told him. "Can you confirm from your position?" Jack adjusted the observatory sensors, confirming 3 unknown objects in high Earth orbit. "They're using some kind of cloaking technology, but their energy signatures are visible." "Keep tracking them," Patricia ordered. "And Jack, don't use standard channels for this. We don't know who might be listening." Back on the Council station, Olivia Martinez was summoned to meet privately with Ambassador Zextal. "I apologize for the tension today," the ambassador said, his 4 arms moving in graceful patterns that seemed to indicate sincerity. "The Vraxians are cautious about new species." "They seem more than cautious," Olivia replied. "They seem hostile." Zextal's skin darkened slightly. "There is history you should know. The Council has encountered Doomworld species before. These encounters did not end peacefully. Because of the Doomworld species or because of the Council's reaction to them?" Olivia asked pointedly. The ambassador's eyes blinked sideways rapidly. "Both. Doomworld species tend to be aggressive when threatened. Some Council members believe preemptive action is safer." "Preemptive action?" Olivia felt a chill. "You mean attack first, ask questions later?" "I am telling you this as a warning," Zextal said, lowering his voice. "The Vraxians have significant influence in the Council. They specialize in security matters and have handled similar situations before." Meanwhile, Frank Russell had slipped out of the human quarters. Using his military training, he avoided the guards and made his way to a maintenance section of the station. There he found an access terminal. While most systems were locked, he managed to tap into the station's communication network. What he found confirmed his suspicions. A Vraxian battle group was moving into position near Mars, hidden behind the red planet's orbit. Frank quickly made his way back to Olivia's quarters, arriving just as she returned from her meeting with Zextal. "We have a problem," they both said at the same time. As they shared their discoveries, Alan Peterson joined them, his face grave. "The Council archives have records of other Doomworld species," he said. All were deemed incompatible with galactic peace and placed under quarantine. None of those species exist anymore. Olivia looked at her team. They're not here to welcome us to the galactic community. They're here to decide if we should be eliminated. Outside their window, the massive form of Jupiter filled the view, its great red spot like an unblinking eye watching the humans as they realized the true danger they faced. On Earth, military bases around the world went on high alert. Patricia Collins stood in the war room of the United Space Command, surrounded by screens showing defense preparations. All planetary defense systems are active, reported a young officer. Mars and lunar colonies have been warned. Patricia nodded grimly. Keep everything defensive. We don't want to provoke them, but we need to be ready. A call came in from Jack Howard at the Lunar Observatory. His face appeared on the main screen, looking tired but determined. Director Collins, we've detected energy signatures consistent with weapons charging on the unknown vessels, he said. And there's more. We've identified at least 7 Vraxian ships entering the solar system from the outer rim. Patricia turned to Admiral Rogers beside her. How do our defenses compare to their technology? The Admiral's face was grim. Based on what we've seen, we're outmatched. Their ships are faster, their weapons more powerful, but we do have one advantage. What's that? Asked Patricia. They don't know we can see them, he replied. And they don't know what humans can do when our backs are against the wall. On the Council station, Natalie Wright and Alan Peterson worked through the night, studying all the data they could access about Council species. What they discovered was shocking. Look at these physical comparison charts, Natalie said, pointing to her screen. The average Council species can run at half our speed, lift a third of what we can, and requires twice the oxygen. Alan nodded. And their environmental tolerances are much narrower. Most Council species can only survive in a temperature range half as wide as humans can. It's not just physical, Natalie continued. Their psychological profiles show much lower tolerance for stress, pain, and environmental changes. Alan sat back, the realization dawning on him. They're not just afraid of us because we survived a Doomworld. They're afraid because, compared to them, we're practically superhumans. Meanwhile, Olivia and Frank met secretly with Ambassador Zextal in a secure room. The Vraxian fleet is moving into attack positions, Frank said bluntly. We need to know where you stand, Ambassador. Zextal's skin had paled to nearly white. This action is not authorized by the full Council. General Voss is acting with support from only a fraction of the members, but enough to take action, Olivia noted. Yes, admitted Zextal. They fear what they do not understand, and humans are difficult to understand for many Council species. Will you help us? Olivia asked directly. The ambassador's 4 hands made complex gestures. I can delay the Council's formal decision, perhaps buy you time. But I cannot openly oppose the Vraxians yet. Back in their quarters, the human delegation gathered to plan. We need to get a message to Earth, Frank said. Warn them about what's coming. The Vraxians are monitoring all communications, Natalie reminded him. Alan suddenly smiled. Not all of them. The Council gave us access to their scientific network for research purposes. We can hide a message in a data packet about Earth's biology. Will it work? Asked Olivia. It has to, Alan replied, already typing. Jack Howard is expecting regular scientific updates. He'll know to look deeper. As Alan worked, Natalie shared their findings about Council species' physical limitations. So they're afraid of us because we're stronger, faster, and more adaptable? Frank asked. It's more than that, Natalie explained. Humans can survive radiation levels that would kill most Council species. We can adapt to atmospheric conditions they find lethal. Our ability to endure pain, stress, and hardship exceeds their comprehension. Our greatest weakness may be our greatest strength, Olivia realized. Earth tried to kill us for millions of years, but it just made us stronger. Outside the station, the first shots of the conflict were fired. A Vraxian patrol ship attacked an Earth research outpost near Saturn. The small human crew fought back with unexpected ferocity, damaging the alien vessel before their station was destroyed. The message was clear. The Vraxians had made their move. Earth's test had begun, and humanity's response would show the galaxy exactly why Earth's residents had survived their Doomworld. News of the attack spread quickly through the solar system. On Mars colony, emergency sirens wailed as people rushed to shelter. 3 Vraxian ships appeared in orbit, their weapons trained on the main habitat domes. Captain Daniel Grant of the Earth vessel Defiance received the distress call while patrolling near Phobos, one of Mars' moons. "All hands to battle stations," he ordered, his voice calm despite the danger. "Prepare for emergency maneuvers." The Defiance was Earth's newest warship, but it was small compared to the Vraxian vessels. Daniel knew a direct confrontation would be suicide. "Sir, we're outgunned 3-1, his tactical officer pointed out. Daniel nodded. "We're not going to outgun them. We're going to outthink them." He turned to his navigator. "Take us into the Phobos dust cloud. Full stealth mode." On the council station, security forces suddenly surrounded the human delegation's quarters. "By order of General Voss, you are confined to these rooms for your safety," announced a Vraxian officer. Frank Russell stood at the door, his posture tense. "You mean for your safety?" Olivia placed a hand on his arm. "We understand," she told the officer. "We wouldn't want to complicate the political situation." After the guards left, she gathered her team. "They're making their move. We need to contact Earth." "The message is ready," Alan said. "But with guards at the door, we can't reach the communication terminal." Natalie smiled slightly. "Actually, we can. I found maintenance tunnels that run behind our quarters while studying the station's schematics. They're designed for the smaller council species. Too small for the Vraxians," Frank noted with approval. "But not too small for humans," Olivia finished. On Earth, Jack Howard received the encrypted message hidden in scientific data. He immediately contacted Patricia Collins. "Director, I have confirmation. The Vraxians have detained our delegation and launched attacks on our outer system outposts. They're calling it a security operation." Patricia's face hardened. "Then we'll show them what real security looks like. Activate Project Daedalus." All across Earth, hidden facilities sprang to life. For years, Earth had been developing technology based on studying the few alien artifacts found on the planet. Now those secret projects would face their first real test. Near Mars, the Defiance powered down all non-essential systems and drifted silently through the dust clouds surrounding Phobos. Captain Daniel Grant watched on his view screen as the Vraxian ship searched for them. "They're using standard search patterns," his science officer whispered. Daniel nodded. "They're expecting us to run or fight directly. They don't understand how humans think." He turned to his crew. "Prepare the mining charges." The Defiance had been equipped with explosive charges designed for asteroid mining. Not powerful weapons, but in the right hands. "Target the dust particles surrounding their ships," Daniel ordered. "Let's show them why Doomworld species are creative." When the charges detonated, they ignited the mineral-rich dust. The resulting electromagnetic pulse disrupted the Vraxian ship's sensors. Before they could recover, the Defiance launched its attack, targeting the vulnerable engine sections that Natalie's research had identified. Within minutes, one Vraxian ship was disabled, a second was retreating, and the third was trying to target the nimble Earth vessel as it weaved through the debris field. On the lunar colony, systems began shutting down one by one. A mysterious virus had infected the main computers. "It's some kind of sabotage," reported the colony director to Patricia. "We're losing life support in sectors 3 through 7. Evacuate those sections and isolate the network," Patricia ordered. "This is just the beginning." Back on the council station, Ambassador Zextol secretly met with representatives from other council species. Many were disturbed by the Vraxians' actions. "This unauthorized attack violates our most sacred principles," said a small furry delegate. "The humans must be given a fair assessment," agreed another. Violence was not approved by the full council. Zextal's skin rippled with tension. Then we must act quickly. General Voss plans to present the council with a fait accompli, Earth's subjugation as a necessary security measure. In the maintenance tunnels beneath the human quarters, Frank Russell led Olivia through the narrow passageways. Their goal: reach the communication center and contact Earth with crucial information about the Vraxian fleet's weaknesses. As they crawled through the cramped space, Olivia couldn't help but smile grimly. The Vraxians were right to fear Doomworld species, she whispered. We never know when to give up. Word of the Vraxian attacks spread quickly through the Galactic Council. Many representatives were shocked by the unauthorized military action. The council chamber erupted into chaos as delegates argued about how to respond. This is a violation of our most basic laws, shouted a delegate with 6 limbs and shimmering scales. No military action can be taken without full council approval. The humans represent a clear danger, countered a Vraxian supporter. General Voss acted to protect us all. Ambassador Zextal watched the debate with growing concern. The council was splitting into factions. He needed to act quickly before more blood was shed. Meanwhile, Olivia and Frank reached the communication center through the maintenance tunnels. They found it empty except for a single technician belonging to a small, amphibian species. The technician jumped in surprise when they emerged from the wall panel. You shouldn't be here, the Vraxians. We know, Olivia said calmly, but we need to send a message to Earth. Lives depend on it. The technician hesitated, large eyes blinking rapidly. The Vraxians are wrong. Many council species believe this. With a quick motion, the alien unlocked a communication terminal. Be quick. Guards check here regularly. Frank immediately began transmitting the data Natalie had compiled about Vraxian ship weaknesses. Olivia sent a separate message to Ambassador Zextal, providing evidence they had discovered about previous Doomworld species that had been eliminated. At that moment on Earth, the first Vraxian ships entered the atmosphere. They expected little resistance from a primitive Doomworld species. They were wrong. Earth's hidden defenses activated. Energy shields that had been developed from studying alien artifacts sprang to life over major cities. New weapons based on reverse-engineered technology fired from concealed locations. Patricia Collins watched from the command center as the first Vraxian ship took a direct hit and veered off course, trailing smoke. They didn't expect us to have this level of technology, Admiral Rogers noted with grim satisfaction. Earth has been preparing for this possibility since we found the first alien crash site in 1947, Patricia replied. We hoped for peaceful contact, but we planned for the worst. On the council station, Alan and Natalie were surprised when the door to their quarters slid open. Ambassador Zextal stood there with several non-Vraxian security officers. Quickly, the ambassador said, the council has called an emergency session. You must testify. About what? Asked Alan. About the truth, Zextal replied, his skin shifting to a determined blue. About the Vraxians' history with other Doomworld species. The council chamber fell silent as Alan Peterson displayed the evidence they had gathered. Images showed 3 other planets classified as Doomworlds, all with sentient species that had been contained by Vraxian forces. The Vraxians have systematically eliminated other Doomworld species, Alan explained to the shocked council. Not because these species were aggressive, but because they represented competition. A large screen showed a transmission from Earth, where Patricia Collins addressed the council. We defended ourselves against unprovoked attack, but we still seek peaceful relations with the galactic community. The feed switched to show Captain Daniel Grant's Defiance rescuing survivors from the Vraxian attack on Mars, even as they fought off enemy ships. Even in the midst of battle, humans risked their lives to save others, Natalie pointed out. Is this the behavior of a dangerous species? General Voss burst into the chamber, flanked by armed Vraxian soldiers. These proceedings are a security risk. The humans must be contained. Ambassador Zextal stood tall, all four arms extended in the council gesture of absolute authority. The emergency vote has been taken, General. The council has spoken. Your actions are condemned, and peacekeepers have been dispatched to protect Earth. Voss snarled, revealing sharp teeth. You fools don't understand the threat Doomworlders pose. We evolved in safe, stable environments. They evolved fighting for every breath. They will eventually dominate us all. Perhaps, said Zextal calmly. That is why we should befriend them rather than fight them. On Earth, the tide of battle had turned. The coordinated defense, combined with strategies that the Vraxians couldn't predict, had driven back the initial attack force. Humanity stood united against the external threat, countries that had once been enemies now fighting side by side. The Doomworld species was proving why it had survived its harsh cradle. And the galaxy was taking notice. 2 weeks after the failed Vraxian attack, representatives from across the galaxy gathered in a new council chamber on Europa. The moon's icy surface glittered beneath a protective dome that allowed visitors to see Jupiter looming large in the sky above. Olivia Martinez stood before the assembled council, now expanded to include Earth. Her team flanked her. Alan, Natalie, and Frank, along with Captain Daniel Grant, whose actions during the battle had made him a hero throughout the solar system. Today marks a new beginning, Ambassador Zextal announced, his blue skin bright with emotion. For the first time, a Doomworld species joins our galactic community as equals. On the far side of the chamber, General Voss stood in restraints, awaiting trial for his unauthorized military action. The Vraxians' once proud posture was now bent with defeat. Olivia stepped forward to address the council. On behalf of Earth, we thank you for your welcome. We understand the fear our planet's classification caused. A Doomworld is not an easy birthplace. Alan activated a holographic display showing Earth's history. But we propose a new classification. Earth is not simply a Doomworld. It is a crucible world, a place where harsh conditions forge exceptional species. The display showed humans adapting to every environment on Earth, climbing mountains, diving to ocean depths, surviving in deserts and Arctic wastes. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, Natalie explained. This human saying reflects our evolution. Each challenge pushed us to adapt, to innovate, to cooperate. We don't want to dominate, Frank added. We want to contribute. Earth's history taught us that the greatest achievements come from working together, not fighting each other. Ambassador Zextal moved to the center of the chamber. The actions of General Voss forced us to confront our prejudice against Doomworld species. His crimes also revealed a forgotten truth. Diversity makes us stronger. Council members nodded in agreement. The crisis had united many previously divided factions. In Earth orbit, a new station was taking shape, a joint project between human engineers and council architects. It would serve as Earth's embassy to the stars, a symbol of their new partnership. Patricia Collins watched its construction from her office window. Jack Howard stood beside her, now appointed as Earth's science liaison to the council. Hard to believe it's only been a month since you detected that first signal, Patricia said. Jack smiled. Even harder to believe we went from potential extinction to joining the Galactic Federation. That's humans for you, Patricia replied. We adapt quickly. On Europa, the ceremony continued. Olivia received the official recognition of Earth as a council member. We have much to learn from you, said a crystalline being, its voice tinkling like wind chimes. Your art, your music, your unique perspective. And we have much to learn from all of you, Olivia responded. Together, we can solve problems neither of us could alone. After the ceremony, Captain Grant approached General Voss. The Vraxian refused to meet his eyes. You were right about one thing, Grant said quietly. Doomworld species are dangerous when threatened. Remember that if you ever consider attacking Earth again. Voss finally looked up. You would have done the same in my position. Survival is the first law of any species. No, Grant replied. Cooperation is the first law of advanced species. That's how we survived our Doomworld. As the Earth delegation prepared to return home, Natalie and Alan met with scientists from a dozen worlds. Together, they launched an initiative to study Earth's unique evolutionary path and apply its lessons to help other struggling planets. Frank spoke with Council security forces, beginning an exchange program to share defensive strategies and build mutual trust. Ambassador Zextal found Olivia on an observation deck, watching Jupiter's swirling clouds. "Your people have changed the Council forever," he said, joining her. "For the better, I believe." Olivia nodded. "Earth tried to kill us for millions of years. It taught us to adapt, to endure, to overcome impossible odds. Now we can use those same skills to build instead of just survive." As their ship departed for Earth, the human delegation looked back at Jupiter and its moons. What had once been the edge of human exploration was now just the beginning of their journey into a larger universe, a universe that had learned an important lesson about judging Doomworlds and the remarkable species they produced.